It's time once again for That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ, where business becomes show business. Jamie is a leading Tampa Bay real estate agent and featured on the Wall Street Journal's list of top 100 real estate agents in the nation. Jamie invites you to list your home with him today and learn more at tampabayradio.com. Now, live in studio and promoting the entrepreneurial spirit that drives the American economy, your host, Jamie Maloney.
Hey, good morning, everybody. Happy Monday, and welcome to the start of another week of That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. This is my 3-year anniversary of being on radio. Just realized that a few days ago, as a matter of fact. Not 3 years of this specific program, but 3 years of being on radio as the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show launched on September 12th, 2013 at Thursday at 5 o'clock, and that was my first time ever on the radio as I talked real estate once a week, and it grew into That Business Show on February 2nd, 2015, and then a 2-hour show about 5 months ago. So time just keeps on going by, and lots of great shows in the bank thanks to the airwaves here, and getting a lot of the great guests and all the listeners that make this show possible each and every morning. Joined in studio, Josh Fosda, the streaming producer. Good morning, Josh. How you doing over there?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing, man?
Doing good, man. Looks
Congratulations on your 3-year anniversary.
Thanks. You all came along probably about 3 or 4 months into it. A funny story about how that happened. John, who is runs Tampa Bay Multimedia, he was chasing me down for like months, like calling me, and I kept hanging up on him because I thought he was a sales guy. He's like, finally, I listened to him, and he's like, "Hey, man, I think it'd be a good idea maybe to add some video streaming to your radio show." So looked into it. Cost was a great deal, and I was on right after a show that you all were streaming to begin with, and so I was like, "Yeah, let's do it," and everything.
What show was that?
I think it was this guy was on Mondays at noon, so it was the health show, caregiver
Let's
hour.
Talk Nutrition.
No, it was the caregiver hour. I believe because you all were streaming that show. That show went off the air about a year ago, and so I was following that show, and so John was here in studio, so he just stayed behind and video streamed the program. So they came in about 3 or 4 months after the Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show. So we pick up the live video stream sometime, I think around January or February of 2014. There after that. So all those shows are still available on demand over at tampabayradio.com. Every single show that I've ever done, both Jamie Maloney Real Estate Show, That Business Show, also over there as well. If you look on the menu bar, if it says JMRES, that's the old real estate show. So we got into some good real estate topics back in the day, and we're going to be covering some real estate here in the first part of today's show. We got Scott Carson, president of We Close Notes, and learn more about him throughout the discussion over at WeCloseNotes.com. So Scott, welcome to the program today.
Hey, good morning. Thanks for having me, man.
So, Scott, you're based out of Austin. You're here in Tampa for a mastermind. So, first off, tell us about this mastermind that you're a part of.
Yeah, it's something called Collective Genius. And what it is, we were about 135 of us real estate entrepreneurs and professionals from all across the country. And there's a good cross-reference or cross-section of everybody with people that do fix and flips and rentals and rehabs and wholesaling. And I'm one of the few guys that actually buys notes across the country, and so we get together every 3 to 4 months to kind of network and work on everybody's business and share ideas and resources and best practices.
And for people that aren't familiar, when I say notes, take us through what buying a note is and what it means.
We specialize in buying distressed mortgages. So we buy first liens from banks and hedge funds, and our goal when we step in and buy the note is we actually become the bank, and our goal is instead of buying the like many people are familiar with buying the property and fixing and flipping that. Our goal is to buy the mortgage and rehab the borrower.
I need to get hooked up with this guy because I specialize in finding distressed women, and then I run out of bank notes.
How big is this market right now? Because I sell bank-owned properties, which means the property has actually been foreclosed and taken over by the bank, and they actually own it. Now, when you buy the note, you don't actually own that property. You have no rights to that property other than as a lien holder. So explain that difference so we're crystal clear on that.
We own the paper, so we have all the same rights as the bank. We control the asset by being in the first lien position, and we have all the same rights to foreclose or to do a workout or modification or let the borrower short sell the property. So that's we've got a variety of like 9, 10 different exit strategies that we use to kind of work with the distressed homeowner in
now. How big
ways.
is this market right now? In 2008, there was all kinds of distressed properties. I sell foreclosures, and I've seen the inventory go down pretty low. So I'm thinking, well, maybe the distressed notes are down too. What's going on behind the scenes?
Well, in the peak in 2009, we had 15 million homes across the country that were underwater. In today's time frame, there's still about 7 million homes.
He just
across the country.
accurately described Tampa Bay, by the way.
Yeah, well, I love Florida. I call it God's waiting room. You know,
So in other words, limbo.
yeah, exactly. But there's still a ton of foreclosures out. With us buying the mortgage, we're getting deals 6 to 12 months ahead of REO investors and realtors listing stuff on the MLS. And so a lot of deals that we buy never end up seeing, the end market.
Right. And how do you find these deals? You don't come to a real estate agent for notes, and I don't think there's any type of database or an exchange for these things. How do you get these notes?
Yeah, you've got to have bank relationships. There's basically a couple departments inside of the bank called like the special assets department or secondary marketing department. And these are the individuals in the banks that are looking at the bank's portfolio. And they're, if they've got stuff that's going bad in their books, they really need to get off their the bank's books, so that they can actually recycle that bad loan with good loans, so they can reloan that money out 3, 4, 5 times a year.
Now I know note investors take a heavy discount off the original principal balance because there's so much risk and there's so much cost associated with it. For a loan that has a principal balance of say $200,000, I mean you're probably going to look to pick that thing up for like $50,000-$60,000.
Well, it all depends on the current market value of the asset. So if they owe $200 and the house is worth $100, I'm not going to pay above 50 cents on the dollar.
And that's typically what goes on in the market right now because of the distressed, the housing prices that have come down and everything. Because take us through, what happens when you purchase a note. Then you basically send a letter to the homeowner, says, hey, make your payments to this address now. Follow, these guidelines. Take us through what happens.
Exactly. Well, you've got to have a licensed servicer that handles all that stuff. There's a lot of state regulation on collecting debt, as we all know.
So the average person can't just pick up a note and just say, hey, mail it to my house over on 3rd Street.
Yeah, no, you don't want to do that.
Okay.
That violates a little thing called Dodd-Frank or the Consumer Finance Protection Bureau laws. But you buy a note, you have a servicer that handles the borrower reach out. They try to make right party contact and try to get the borrower who isn't been paying to either reinstate the loan or come to some sort of exit strategy. Let's modify it, or what do we need to do to really create a win-win? And the fact that we pick up these mortgages at 40, 50, 60 cents on the dollar of fair market value gives us a lot of flexibility to really create a win-win with the borrowers.
And what is usually the end result? I mean, you're buying these notes at a huge discount, so it's in your best interest a lot of times to do a workout with them. Is that usually what happens? And how often do they go to REO?
Well, we would wish that they would all work with us. If you're going to buy about 10 notes on average, you're going to see 2 to 3 people that will modify immediately for you, 2 to 3 that will just give you the property and walk away. And then the other 40 to 60%, you're just going to end up having to foreclose.
And if the example we used earlier, if the house has a principal balance of $200,000, it's worth $100,000, you pick it up for $50,000. Why not just knock their note down to $50,000 and just collect the payments from that?
Well, but that doesn't make sense. Well, I'm an investor, so if I'm paying $50, I want to get a good return on my money. If the house is worth $100, it's worth $100. I'm still, by modifying the loan to $100, for giving a ton of money.
Right.
To that borrower.
So you would then modify it to the $100,000, and then you would then collect the interest on the note, and then the principal.
He got fired up a little bit. I was waiting for some swear words.
Well, you know what? We're still here to help people, but let's, no offense.
No, you're still knocking $100,000 off the balance, everything.
Definitely.
But I just want to understand the return that they're looking for on these notes.
It sounds like what's happening is passion is meeting work ethic.
Now, how do you get into these relationships with the banks? I mean, how have you found these notes through the years? Is it just
it's dialing for dollars, man? It is a different model of, instead of sending out foreclosure postcards like a lot of investors do, or door knocking, we're going direct to the source. So we're dealing with banks instead of getting one deal from like one borrower that most investors deal with. We're getting lists of anywhere from one asset all the way up to 5,000 assets from these banks. So it's building relationships with these asset managers, showing that you can close on a regular basis, that you're not going to waste their time.
Why has there never been a central database or a central exchange for these notes, just like a multiple listing service for real estate? Several years ago, we were talking before the show, the National REO Brokers Association, of which I am a member, rolled out a note buying platform, and they wanted the brokers to get their investors and pitch the platform. I forget what it was called. It was a spinoff of their REO operating system. But why is there not like a central exchange for these things?
Because the fact is, it would be giving away too much public information. if you were to go to something public like that and look and find out that your next door neighbor's in default,
right,
and his notes for sale, it's kind of an embarrassing thing.
Well, you get that anyways with the Liz Pendens. I mean, if you miss 3 payments, that's usually when they.
I agree to that point, but there's a lot of mortgages out there that somebody hasn't paid 1, 2, or 3 years right now that the banks haven't started the foreclosure yet.
Right. Yeah, and then in a healthy market, after usually the third missed payment is when the foreclosure process should start. And over the last 5 years, it's usually after the third year.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's happening in the market in the last year or two, because it seems like we're coming, kind of full circle here, getting back to a little bit more of a healthy real estate market. Still very low inventory, so it's not exactly healthy. But in terms of distressed properties, how's it looking versus 2008 and 2009?
Well, we're down about 50% across the country. I mean, at the peak we had 15 million homes, but now we still have 7 million homes underwater, and we have a whole nother wave of foreclosures of homes that were modified 5 years ago that are now starting to default as that fixed interest rate period of 1-2% for these borrowers is starting to expire, and now people are starting to default on those payments because they can't afford.
Is this the second wave of REO that I've been hearing about? Because, like I said, I'm a member of the National REO Brokers Association. Mike Crine, who's a PhD and very skilled economist, talks on this subject a lot. He said beginning next year, it's going to start picking up again in terms of distressed properties. How would you respond to that?
I would agree to that. Why you're seeing less REOs right now is because the banks aren't taking things to foreclosure. When you have Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac selling off 40, 50,000 mortgages to investors like me, those deals will never hit the MLS for the most part, because investors like me that pick up stuff at a big discount are being very aggressive about doing workouts with the borrowers.
Right.
So they're taking something that you would hope to see hit the market in 6 months, never ever hits it, because we come to a true win-win and keep the borrower.
And he stressed that the distressed market is going to have a whole different face. In the last several years, we've been dealing with the big servicing companies and the big GSEs, I should say, HUD, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and all those. In this next round, he said, they're dumping off this inventory to the investors, and so it's not going to be the same game. There's going to be a lot more players and a lot of different types of scenarios, and so you can definitely agree with that, correct?
I totally agree with that. But you also look at some of these big hedge funds like Blackstone and other companies that have bought these big portfolios of REOs and then put loans against them. They're failing. Yeah. And so you have another wave of these other homes that are now hitting the defaulted note market that we're picking up at discounts as well. And so
you guys are getting deep, man. It's like a political debate in here.
It can be, exactly.
It's turning into the 60s. I need to go find my bra and a lighter.
If it was truly the 60s, you wouldn't need a bra, though, right?
It would probably be too high, and just imagine that I was actually burning bras.
All right, let me take a break here, going a little bit long in this segment. Currently talking to Scott Carson, president of We Close Notes, and learn more about this at that website, weclosenotes.com. You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Teresa Turner is a certified public accountant and the founder of Tax Happens, a boutique-style CPA firm providing small businesses and individuals with hands-on, personalized tax and accounting services. Although we would love to tell you how happy their clients are, we would like you to see for yourself. Tax Happens has 21 Google reviews and a 4.8-star Google rating, 17 Yelp reviews and a 5-star Yelp rating, 38 Facebook reviews and a 4.9-star Facebook rating. What sets Tax Happens apart is number 1, upfront pricing, 2, clear deadlines, 3, personally available year-round, and number 4, a willingness to empower clients to do as much or as little as they desire. Visit taxhappens.com for more information.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
Savvy business owners utilize technology to connect with customers, communicate among teams, and collaborate with partners. Even with advances in technology, you all know it's not infallible. Where do you turn when your technology starts working against you? Who do you depend on to keep your team productive? Don't wait until your technology fails you. Get ahead of the crisis and contact the professionals at Alpha Computing Solutions so they can show you how to keep your technology running smoothly. Visit them online at www.alphacomputing.com.
Did you know the biggest challenge business leaders face today is creating an engaged and productive workforce culture? Billmeyer Ham Consulting wants to help you solve this challenge. They will help you transform your workforce culture to produce amazing business results. Call Billmeyer Ham Consulting at 941-201-4650 today or visit BillmeyerHam.com. That's BillmeyerHam.com. Have a conversation. Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn. Or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
From the RP Funding Traffic Network.
Crash at Largo on southbound US 19 at Almerton. Blockage on the southbound exit ramp here. Heavy traffic now on some of the interstates in Tampa, including westbound I-4 from I-75 over towards downtown Tampa. Also seeing those delays between Hutchinson and Gunn Highway on the Veterans Expressway. South of there, you're in good shape, but delays now from the Courtney Campbell Causeway to 275. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Udor Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Foundation for a Better Life.
This is water. Can you feel this, Helen? Yes, water! Helen, it's water!
Deaf and blind, Helen Keller overcame her world of darkness. Foresight, pass it on from the Foundation for a Better Life at values.com.
Today, increasing humidity, a 40% chance of showers and storms, high 91. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 77. Tomorrow, a 50-50 rain chance, high 89.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Talking about the buying notes here with Scott Carson, president of We Close Notes. We're talking about distressed real estate, distressed notes, what happens before the actual foreclosure process. So there are investors who go out there and buy these notes at heavy discounts, and then they basically become the bank, and they turn them over to a servicing company, and they exercise a number of different exit strategies, sometimes workout options, sometimes they got to take them REO. What are some of the other strategies that you may employ with these notes? You may just flip the note itself and resell it again even, right?
Yeah, we'll wholesale paper to other investors. If we pick up stuff cheap enough, we'll move it to somebody else for a quick profit. We'll allow people to have their loans assumed by somebody else. If they get a family member or a friend that wants to take over payments, we'll let them do that. We approve short sales all the time. There are also several government programs that we use to get funds from states so that these borrowers can reinstate their loan as well. It's something called the hardest hit funds that are available, but about 19 states across the country.
Now, as we were talking about in that last segment, these big banks and servicers, they're dumping these loans, the Fannies, the Freddies. I mean, that's your secondary market right there. HUD, who insures mortgages. I mean, they're dumping these things at record levels, are they not?
They are, totally. HUD came out a couple years ago, and they expected to be selling more paper off than actual REOs over the next 5 years. And so
there's a lot of opportunity out there for notes, but what I'm getting at is our real estate market is is going to look completely different here in a few years. How much longer before this runs its course and then the investors really have much more control of the secondary market than the traditional services?
If I had that, I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Vegas nonstop. It's I'm going to say 3 to 5 years is what we say. We've been saying 3 to 5 years for the last 3 to 5 years.
Right.
You never know what's going to happen with the government. You never know what's going to happen with licensing. There's different knee-jerk reactions. There's a lot of talk about how Dodd-Frank was going to change things a few years back, but really hasn't for the most part.
Now, can a note buyer go out and just buy like one note, or do they have to buy like an entire portfolio of notes?
It depends on who the bank is.
Mm-hmm.
There are plenty of websites and hedge funds out there that will sell 1, 2, 3 notes. There are some exchanges out there like a FCI exchange or Watermark exchange that will sell an individual note to an investor. But the bigger pools that you can buy, the bigger discounts you get, the better quality of product you get.
Now, for somebody who's listening to this and who wants to get into note buying, what are some of the questions they need to be asking so they don't come off and sound like some inexperienced person?
Well, it's good to have a good knowledge of what some experience in real estate.
Yeah, something like they want to see the tape or something.
Yeah, see a tape, spreadsheet.
Right.
There's some terms like the velocity of capital. It depends on who you're talking to.
You got to learn their language, and I remember just reading on this in past, although I'm not by any means an expert on it. I just know some of the terminology that I came across I
don't know about your terminology. It's starting to sound weird. I mean, you said tape, spread. What is this, a rapist?
Fade. What kind of color can you get? What kind of discount can you get? It's important to know that kind of stuff. Do some research about it. It's good to know what specific states you want to invest in, because every state has a different foreclosure time frame. Like Texas, we do everything fast in Texas. Fast foreclosures, fast highways, fast executions.
Texas don't mess around, yes.
Whereas Florida is here a little bit longer.
But it's supposed to be shortening here in Florida, right? I mean, it's supposed to be improving.
It is. If you've got the
executions?
No, it's foreclosures.
If they've got passed a rule, if it was a non-contested foreclosure, you can foreclose in 100 days. So it's helped speed things up from an average of about 18 months to about 10 months.
And what states do you just avoid altogether? Like I know, like Washington D.C., for instance, I've been told you can't foreclose. Period in that area, right?
You can.
It's very difficult.
It takes a little bit longer. I avoid New York, New Jersey. I mean, they're talking 3 years to foreclose. So I would rather have my money do something that I can turn it faster.
Now, what do you recommend? Are there any good courses out there? Do you teach any courses?
I do, okay. Yes. Shameless plug. I do teach. It's actually the Educator of the Year in 2014.
Okay, so how can people reach out to you and learn from them?
Our website, weclosenotes.com. You can also go to like YouTube or Vimeo, and we've got literally like 800 different videos out there for free for investors to learn from.
Okay, so weclosenotes.com, and people can go out there and learn how to purchase these notes. So we got about a minute left. Scott, how did you find the note buying business? So were you a real estate investor doing traditional fix and flips?
I was.
With the hard assets? Go ahead.
Yep, I sure was, and a mortgage broker as well, in a mortgage company back in 2006, 2007, and when everything hit the fan, I basically flipped from creating mortgages to actually buying distressed debt from the same banks I was making loans for. They were like, yeah, we've got stuff, but we're not taking loans. We've got stuff we want to move. And I was like, well, tell me more about what you're doing. Talked to a couple local investors in Austin and kind of learned the business and stopped doing everything else and just focused on this since 2007.
Interesting. And I remember discussing this with other brokers and stuff, but like if you want to sell these and take a commission, I mean, do you have to have a mortgage broker license for that? Do you have to have a real estate license?
No real estate license required. In some states, they do require you to have a mortgage broker's license if you're buying a lot in those states. But for the most part, no licensing required.
Interesting stuff. Scott Carson, president of We Close Notes. Thank you so much for being in studio.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. And you can learn more about him and take one of his courses. You can visit the website, weclosenotes.com. It's a very lucrative industry and a lot of distressed notes out there and some good money to be made on top of traditional real estate investing. So again, weclosenotes.com. Coming back from the break, we'll be talking to Jason Woody, president and CEO of the Lion's Eye Institute. On That Business Show, Jamie Maloney, where business becomes showbiz.
I feel guilty that I can't always be there when Mom feels stuck at home. She was always there for us. But now she can't get out, and I'm not always available to take her places. Someone else needs to help her get around. Then I learned about Home Instead. Now Mom can do what she enjoys because her personal caregiver is there, and I can just be a daughter again.
Are you struggling to care for your loved one? We can help. Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
Hi, welcome to Yeager's. We just want to take a minute and show you what we're all about. At Yeager's, our primary business is hardwood flooring, although we are remodelers for kitchen, bath, and general construction. We operate a fleet of shop-at-home vans that have all the flooring type products, hardwood flooring, laminate flooring, tiles, stone, what have you. So we're able to come out first with products in our vehicles and take a look at the setting, how the colors will work, and then to be able to come up with some options and ideas for you. If that's not good enough, we have a large distribution center that we inventory product and have a nice display area.
Course on the brakes again, approaching 275 in downtown Tampa. Crash in Pinellas County, southbound US 19 at Tampa Road, and one on southbound US 19 near Almerton. See traffic problems? Call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uter at Hillsborough Traffic Tip Line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Florida Housing Finance Corporation.
Are you at risk of losing your home to foreclosure? Do you need assistance? The Foreclosure Counseling Program offers free help to qualified homeowners. Go to www.floridahousing.org to find counselors in your area.
1250 winds, weather center forecast. Getting up to 90 for the high today. Mix of sun and clouds, 40% chance. Scattered showers and storms. Overnight low in the mid-70s. A little cooler over the next couple days. Even see some upper 80s. Rain chance higher, though, 50%. Impact Radio, 1250 winds, WHNZ.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. Learn more about this program over at TampaBayRadio.com. Over there, all shows are available on demand. And if I can help you buying or selling real estate, there is a home valuation tool on there if you're selling your homes, or if you're searching for homes, you can see that over there on the website as well. We've made some modifications to the site, so take a look at it, and hopefully you like the changes. Also, keep in mind the partnership with the Tampa Bay business owners, still encouraging people to apply for membership within the organization. So if you are a business owner and would like to take advantage of the events and the radio show and the key connections, the personal one-on-one consulting that I do with the members, please apply for membership. You can go to TampaBayRadio.com or TBBO.org and fill out the registration form, and we'll sit down with you one-on-one and discuss the ways that the radio show and also the Tampa Bay Business Owners Network can help you grow and diversify and collaborate with other business owners here in the Tampa Bay region. We'll be talking a lot more about that coming up in the 8 o'clock hour as we welcome back April Saland and Bonnie Dye, a couple of TBBO ambassadors and very loyal supporters of the organization. So we'll be hearing from them in the 8 o'clock hour. My next guest for the program, Jason Woody, President and CEO of the Lion's Eye Institute. Learn more about this, lionseyeinstitute.org. And Jason is a returning guest to the program as well. So, Jason, welcome back to the program today.
Well, thank you, Jamie. Congratulations on your 3 years.
Oh, thank you so much. Now, you have the Eyeball coming up here very soon. So let's just start with that. That's a big event that I guess you put on annually, correct?
That's correct.
Right.
Yeah, that's correct.
Tell us about the Eyeball.
That's our major fundraiser as far as we have that each year. As far as it's been probably ranked in the top 10 events in Tampa each year. And this year will be happening on October 22nd. As far as at the Wesley Event Center that used to be the main sale, and they've changed a couple names right there on Eisenhower and the Veterans Expressway.
Is it like a Halloween thing? Or, being that you call it the Eyeball, I kind of want to come dressed as a finger so I can poke the eyeball. You know?
Not so much. This is it's our black tie event that we have every year. And as far as it usually we sell it last year we sold out a month early, about 350 people. Due to the success, this is our third location The last location we were at Pepin, which is a wonderful location. We wish we could have. I mean, it's just beautiful facility. But when you get up to a neighborhood of about 300 people, it's tough for the layout that they have there. So it's great, from that side. And then we moved over. It used to be the main sale. Now it's the Wesley. It changed last year. And they've got a great venue. So we hope not to grow it out. We know that we want to kind of keep it around that 300, 350. That seems that's a manageable number.
Right.
So it should be a great event.
The 10th annual Eyeball Gala being held Saturday, October 22nd. Now, the Lions Eye Institute is a very large organization. It's been around for like 100 plus years, has it not?
Yeah, Lions have been around for about 100 years, greater than that. Actually, they got their mission started from Helen Keller.
Right, and share that story with us again.
Yeah, that interesting enough.
Blind lady.
Yes.
That as far as that, and all nonprofits have some type of pinnacle event that all of a sudden that they raise. And this was in the 1920s. The Lions had their national convention, and they asked a speaker to come in. And at that time they really didn't have a vision-focused mission. And the guest speaker they invited to come in was Helen Keller. Mm-hmm. Now imagine that she's meeting for some of the top business people in the country, in the United States at that time, and she challenged them to be the Knights, Knights Against the Blind, the Crusaders Against Darkness. And that was where, right at that point, was that pivotal point where the Lions became focused on people that were blind or visually impaired through all their endeavors.
And what was the Lions Eye Institute originally established for? Was it just a general business networking organization, and it became its mission as of that point? What was the background before that?
So the Lions International, as far as really was, as far as it was a group of business people that started together, even hence the name Lions. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they were very dominant, strong business individuals. Our program started here in 1973, focused solely on sight restoration through corneal donation and through transplant and research. So, for instance, our side of, the Lions mission, 75 years later after they started, is sight preservation and restoration.
Now, this is the 10th annual Eye Ball. Is this ball unique to this area? Is this something that the Lions Eye Institute does across the country? Tell us a little bit more about this specific event.
It's just ours. As far as now over the years, we've noticed, I think 2 years ago, we saw another eyeball pop up somewhere on the other coast. So
I imagine somebody else has
someone grabbed and coined the name. We had, so that's okay though. As far as just the concept, there was different. That was actually a vision group, as far as, for vision impairment. So they used the name, that we had. So that wasn't a problem because it's obviously for a great cause. So it's just basically here in Tampa. As far as from that side, like I said, it is our major fundraiser. As far as from that side, that we have every year. It's been a great success. I would say it's definitely the who's who that shows up, at the event. As far as and we use the funds that are raised that night solely to provide sight for people that are blind or visually impaired that don't have the ability to pay for surgery.
Now, you started with the Lions Eye Institute some time now. You've been with them for some time, correct?
November, just next, as far as not a couple months from now, will be 26 years.
26 years. Wow, congratulations!
Thank you.
How have you seen the organization evolve and change over these 26
If you could see the look on his face when he said that, he's like, "Yeah, I've survived this long."
No, it's been anytime you serve in a nonprofit for close to 3 decades, you see a lot of change. Mm-hmm. As far as from that side, government's been the biggest, as far as side, obviously we're going through the issues with Obamacare reimbursement and making sure that there's just a lot of patients now falling through the cracks.
I was going to say, how has the rules of the nonprofits changed over these 26 years? Have they improved? Have they gotten more restrictive on you, more regulatory? I mean, what have you seen just in that regard in the 26 years?
Well, obviously it's been much more restrictive. You have to make sure when you're a tax exempt organization, there's a lot of people watching you, and they should be. The IRS, obviously, remember that we don't pay tax, and that's one of the big things that you have a lot of programs. Unfortunately, a lot of them have hit the news that take advantage of that. They don't provide the service that they think the community is not being served that way. So actually, they are very tight on us, as far as from that side, and I don't mind it, as far as from that side. I think that's a great thing. Where we're seeing is that where nonprofits have to compete with the for-profits. And I mean by that for the talent, for the employees that we bring in.
Right.
As much as you would love the cause, you still have to find something that supports your family and has a meaningful career. So now to get those upper echelon employees, we've got to compete against the for-profits there to bring that type of caliber employee into our environment.
So it's a nonprofit organization then. So how does it work internally then with the staff and the volunteers? I mean, what are they doing on a daily basis? I mean, it's more than just fundraising, right? You're getting involved with a lot of the eye doctors and with the people that are afflicted affected with these conditions. Tell us a little bit about the internal workings of the organization.
Well, we actually have two nonprofits. So we have a fundraising arm that, as far as which would be the Eyeball and our race, our two fundraising events, and then we have the parent nonprofit, and that's the one that actually we cover 61 of the 67 counties of Florida. And we do, so if you have organ donor on your driver's license, which probably many of your listeners do, and everybody probably in the room, you do that as far as that. So if all of a sudden when the patient expires or your loved one passes away, we're the team to come out and do the recovery. So that's our core function of what we do as far as for transplant and research purposes.
And you have the eye bank, right? So the eyes are one of the things, or is what is donated, when the person passes away. And so you've amassed a large database of, or I should say, data bank of eyeballs. Then, correct?
Well, what we've done as far as really is that
that must go over well on Halloween parties. You're dipping.
Well, we have that. We're very fortunate. The state of Florida has 9 million people on our state registry. So when you have your driver's license and you say organ donor, there's 9 million people just like you that have signed up to make that commitment.
Right.
And we have probably one of the highest states. As far as everyone, we're a very populated state, but that's very close to 50% of the population has made the decision to be a donor to help somebody else. It was a very, very kind gesture. Of course, we don't know when that's going to happen, and obviously for many it's going to be in the future, but they've already designated on their driver's license, and so that makes a huge difference as far as for our waiting patients that as far as waiting for a corneal transplant.
Can you restore sight by putting an eyeball from somebody else into your eye? I mean, or is that just for aesthetics at that point? I mean, I don't know a whole lot about how blindness is cured or treated. I mean, can you see through somebody else's eye? Is that possible?
Well, you're actually seeing through. Imagine that. So imagine a cornea transplant. The cornea is like the face of your watch.
Okay.
So that if your watch was scratched up your face, it's still telling time, but you can't see what time it is.
Okay.
As far as, so that's the part that almost like the face of your watch. That's what we would go ahead and we would transplant. And so you are truly seeing through someone else's eye, the front portion of their eye, whatever they've seen. We had an older lady said that she was proud. She wanted to know that her husband had read over 1,000 books. And so that that whoever got his corneas, I hope they're an avid reader,
right?
And and truthfully, she is looking through to see whoever that individual, the recipient would be looking through that individual's eyes.
So when people are born blind, is that oftentimes they'll never see, or can that be cured even through transplants or surgeries as well?
We are coming. That is going to be now. Imagine we go back to the watch scenario. That's the back of your watch. That's where the battery is. That's where the hands, the movement are, the front. So even though your cornea is functioning fine, there's a problem in the back of your watch. So it's not telling time. So as far as research, people say, well, what about Stevie Wonder? And they always, science is getting there. Do I think it would happen in my lifetime? I really do.
Don't they have certain gadgets that if you hook it up to the side of your head, can you explain any of that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
So basically is what they're using, that as far as they're using glasses, a type of glasses, as far as actually it's an Oakley product, interesting enough, and what they do is they actually put a chip in the back of your eye, and that chip then skips the part of your eye that actually is visually impaired, that has the disease, and takes it directly to the glasses on the front. So so people that are blind, as far as can see, and as far as that study has done very well. It's pretty expensive, it's about $250,000. But I will tell you what, for people that are completely blind, this modality has worked for them.
Yeah, but how they actually see it's sort of like me on a Saturday night trying to watch, HBO through the squiggly lines, right? I mean, they don't see like perfectly clear images. They kind of see like an outline or a shadow.
No, it's actually and again, it's imagine that like a megapixel camera was 10 or 15 years ago. That's kind of where they were when it first started. They've had to bring the technology there. You don't understand that as far as, if you had to look at your vision is hundreds of terabytes.
Right.
Not when you say, okay, it's a 5 megapixel camera. You're looking at normal vision could be 200 or 300 terabytes of vision.
Wow.
So even though you're saying, okay, it's a 15 meg camera or 25 meg camera, it's nothing compared to what you would have as a regular human being. So they're trying to reproduce that with a camera image.
And what type of advances have we made with regard to people who whose sight deteriorates over time and they got to get glasses? I remember hearing a lot about, and still do, about LASIK eye surgery. Is that the one cure all for that? And are there some conditions that like it's just going to continue to deteriorate to the point of blindness, and there's not a whole lot that we can do at that point?
Yeah, and again, Jamie, like you were mentioning that as far as LASIK, that's again going to be on the front of your eye. That's where your cornea. Very, very, successful. My aunt's had surgery, as far as she's a nurse. And so she actually had LASIK surgery and loves it. I mean, as far as doesn't even wear glasses, now. So that's one of the most popular cataracts. As we get a little bit older, the sun does damage on our eyes. And so as far as some is hereditary, but for the most is done by sun damage. And so cataracts is one. But now you still hear glaucoma. Now you hear macular degeneration.
Yeah.
That's the big one as far as age-related macular degeneration. And also too, diabetes. So, I mean, if you've had family members that have diabetes, one of the first things you hear about is that their vision's impaired.
And cataracts are something that all people are going to get eventually at some point in their life if they live long enough. I've heard that, correct?
Well, interesting enough, everybody will be visually impaired if you live long enough.
Yes.
It's guaranteed.
Yes.
Not cancer or anything else. You will be visually impaired. Some of us have readers already. Some of us have had cataract surgery, as far as there. So you will get, that's the one thing about visual impairment, it's guaranteed.
And so when you go out into the sun, what type of sunglasses do you recommend? Like I know I myself, I like to be stylish. I pick up the stylish ones, but I see there's the option between polarized and non-polarized. Does that make a difference with regard to eye care?
Polarized, UV, make sure they have a good UV rating. I mean, the ones I know they look stylish, the ones that you're walking out of the drugstore, no, I've got to have those for $5. Basically that's all they are.
So you recommend the polarized ones?
Buy polarized, you could look at a good UV rating, as far as from there, because at the end of the day, I mean, you'll notice when you wear a good pair of sunglasses that they're, and I'm not saying any name, brand whatsoever, but you'll notice the difference at the end of the day, just the glare,
right?
From there, and it takes a toll, especially the last couple of weeks, how hot it's been. I don't know if you've noticed it, but my sensitivity, it seems, over the last couple of weeks is the sun's been very, very bright.
I need sunglasses a lot. Yeah, I do not like to go out without sunglasses.
Yeah.
I notice, when I buy glasses, I've been going with the non-polarized lately because my car, the digital display, the polarized filters that out.
Yes.
So I can't see my clock in my digital display. Yeah, the polarized lenses filter out that wavelength.
And some people say their cell phone.
Yeah.
So when you go on your phone, you're like, but at the end of the day, you can always just look above them or below them, just have better glasses.
Yeah.
I know it's like, well, I can't see my cell phone, or I can't see the image all of a sudden. That's probably the smallest part that you should worry about. But it's true. It's and it's sad because little things like that just become an inconvenience for us.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right, let me take a break here. Currently talking to Jason Woody, President and CEO of the Lions Eye Institute. Learn more at lionseyeinstitute.org. You're listening to That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, your business becomes show business.
I knew Mom wanted to stay at home. It's the center of her family, her life. But helping Mom stay in her home while managing mine was just too much. Honestly, it wasn't just about me. Mom didn't want me to be her caretaker. She wanted me to be her daughter. I felt so alone until I found out about Home Instead Senior Care. When we met the people at Home Instead, we just knew they were different. The experience was personal. And most importantly, for Mom and me, I get to be her daughter again.
Home Instead Senior Care. To us, it's personal.
How many times have you said to yourself, I wish there was an app for that? Stop wishing and start making the world better. Turn your brilliant idea into a profitable business by using Popcorn apps. Their affordable app design will help get your blue sky idea or proven business to the next level at a fraction of the cost of other developers. They will help you get through all the steps needed to make your thoughts become live. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today. What's up, business rock stars? Are you ready to bring out the CEO in you? Join Julianne Nichols, CEO of Focus on You Strategy, every other Friday on That Business Show. She'll be talking with other chief entrepreneurial officers about how they grew their businesses. Remember, you could join the conversation at Focus on You Strategies Focus Fridays Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. That's facebook.com/groups/Focus Fridays. Be the CEO of you. Who doesn't have a smartphone these days? And of course, there's an app for everything. Well, almost everything. That's why the folks at Popcorn Apps started developing mobile applications. They saw people like you with genius ideas, unable to make those thoughts a reality. They develop applications for tens of thousands of dollars less than you'll find anywhere else, and will turn your idea into a reality in a matter of just a few months. Think you're not ready? Think again. They are your one-stop shop for mobile application development. See them at popcornapps.com with a K in popcorn, or call them at 727-415-6705 for your free consultation and pop your kernel of an idea into $1 million business and a world changer starting today.
At Vein 911, we will help you feel great again. Do you have restless legs, night leg cramps, or ankle swelling? Restless legs, cramping, swelling, and tired heavy legs are often symptoms of hidden vein disease. You do not have to have visible bulging veins to have the symptoms of vein disease. The vein care specialists at Vein 911 are uniquely qualified to evaluate and treat your veins. Are you unhappy with your previous vein treatment? Vein 911 succeeds where others fail. Call Vein 911 today at 855-VEIN-911. That's 855-834-6911 to book your free consultation. Vein 911. We will help you feel great again.
Are you in need of new flooring or ready to tackle that home remodeling project? Then contact Yeager & Company Incorporated, a family-owned, state-certified general contracting business with over 70 years of experience and the recipient of the Angie's List Super Service Award for the last 8 years in multiple categories. Yeager & Company comes to you with their shop-at-home flooring sales service, and their hardwood flooring refinishing is the very best in the Bay. Kitchen and bath design featuring American-made, well-born cabinets, and all work is done by employees, not subcontractors. Learn more at YeagerFlooring.com.
If you've been following That Business Show on Facebook and Twitter, you may have noticed the quality of some of our images. That's because one of our sponsors is pro photographer Rick Taseda, a member of the Professional Photographers of America. You can view his extensive work by going to his website at ricktaseda.com or call him for an appointment to chat about your photography needs at 813-641-4757. That's 813-641-4757. Rick Taseda Visuals. Call him for your next event or project.
From the Bright House Networks Traffic Center.
Heavy traffic on southeastbound Gun Highway from Anderson over towards Casey Road. That is due to a crash that has all lanes blocked at the moment as they try to clear this. Also, southbound Dale Mabry is slow approaching Linebaugh. Southbound 275, it is heavy from Bierce to around Hillsborough Avenue. Crash in Pinellas County on southbound US 19 in the right-hand lane near Tampa Road. See traffic problems, call the injury firm of Abrahamson Uterick. Hillsborough traffic tip line 866-545-9595.
This report is brought to you by Bands and Beer on the Bay, a charitable event featuring the Black Honkies, the New Rulers, and Siobhan and the Bad Boys, a wings throwdown, food trucks, craft beer from the local brewery, cooked thumb, and more. This Saturday at Safety Harbor's Waterfront Park. Purchase tickets online at Bands and Beer on the Bay, Facebook, or at the gate.
Today, increasing humidity, a 40% chance of showers and storms, high 91. Tonight, partly cloudy, low 77. Tomorrow, a 50-50 rain chance, high 89.
You're listening to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney on 1250 Wins WHNZ. Missed a show? Then head over to TampaBayRadio.com, where all shows are available on demand. Once again, here's your host, Jamie Maloney.
And welcome back to That Business Show with Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business. In studio with Jason Woody, President and CEO of the Lions Eye Institute. And learn more at lionseyeinstitute.org. So, Jason, the organ donation program, very important to the organization. You all recently just ran a campaign. You're telling me about the A-hole campaign. We can't say it live on the air, but it was a very effective campaign. Tell the audience about this, because I wasn't familiar with this.
Yeah, we've struggled over the years to reach millennials. And it's a tough group, that as far as everybody, with social media and things like that, the normal way, even most people sign up to be an organ donor right now, still at the DMV. And, that's usually now at 6 years. Some states are going to 10-year driver's license. So we're not going to have the ability to reach out to individuals as much as we would to touch them. And you had to find what was going to attract that. So as you mentioned, the A-hole campaign, it was written by the Martin Agency. It, as far as was really depicting someone, it's a very, if you get a chance to look at it, you can look at organ donation, look it up. You can look up the A-hole campaign.
Right.
And you'll find it very easy. And to give you an idea, I think the Geico commercial that ran Hump Day had 10 million hits the first week. We had 50 million.
Wow.
Donation increased. The registration increased 700%.
Wow. And this was a campaign that was strictly on YouTube, though, correct?
Solely on YouTube, so, obviously, because of the wording, you
right.
knew the name. It was, I will tell you, I sit on the board of directors, chair of the board of directors for Donate Life America, which is the national organization kind of over organ, eye, and tissue donation in the United States. And it was a tough decision. It's something that you really had to push the envelope. But at the end of the day, we had to reach all demographics.
Did you feel a lot of complaints from traditionalists and conservatives?
The board was mixed, and what we found is we were too close to it. Mm-hmm. We were feeling the way we felt, not the way the consumer. And if you're waiting for a heart, lung, kidney, at the end of the day, you don't care what message gets out there. It's almost, potentially that you have the opportunity to have your life saved. And we had to struggle with that, putting ourselves in the recipients, and we also struggled with putting ourselves in the mindset of a 21-year-old.
Right.
They're okay, what are they looking for? 19, 21, or what's going to get their attention? And interesting enough, Jamie, what we saw, there was, I want to say, hundreds of thousands of likes. And then when someone disliked it, the people that all of a sudden the responses were made from our constituents.
Oh, really?
They stood up and said, "Look, I got a heart transplant. I got a kidney transplant."
That's why they got attracted. I mean, especially with me, if if there's someone that anyone dislikes, and we could jump on and just start making fun of them and stuff like that. I mean, that would draw me in. And was that the purpose?
No, it was. The purpose was obviously to have an aggressive campaign. And obviously it was. It was just, if you watch the video, if you get a chance, it's on YouTube. It starts out pretty aggressive.
Right.
There's no one in this video that's not offended.
Right.
And, as far as, and at the end of the guy, the gentleman becomes Will Arnett, did the voiceover. It's
so
a great piece.
Was it just one ad, or was it multiple commercials? Just one ad?
Just one commercial.
And
only that's it. And all of a sudden, the Donate Life America logo, pushing people to sign up to be an organ donor, is the very last 2 seconds of it.
Yeah.
So it's not even throughout it. It's just the sharing of what.
Is the campaign still running, or has it ran its course?
It's still running. We're still fitting things.
Check
so
it out.
It's running out of time. Forbes did an article on it. Obviously, the new iPhone came out. So one of the newest things too is that along the same thing is that iPhone, the new iPhone app has an organ donor app already on it, so you can register. Every 245 million phones that go out will all have, so you can sign up to be an organ donor now straight from your Apple phone.
Interesting. Okay, we've got about a minute left. Let's circle back around to the Eyeball that's coming up on October 22nd. Jason, go ahead and give us that one more time.
Yeah, Eyeball is going to be October 22nd. Great event, Vintage Hollywood, so it's an awesome theme this year. For more information, you can go to our website, www.lionseyeInstitute.org. It's going to be a great event. I would say grab your tickets. We were about 3 weeks out last year before we completely sold out and actually had to turn people away, and actually even some of the sponsors.
Okay, and this is a black tie event, so this is going to be a who's who of who's in Tampa.
It's the who's who, and it's a great night and for a great cause.
All right, LionsInstitute.org. Jason Woody, thank you so much for being in studio today.
Thank you, Jimmy, and congratulations again on your 3 years.
Oh, thank you so much. And again, President and CEO of the Lion's Eye Institute. Learn more, LionsEyeInstitute.org. Learn more about this program over at TampaBayRadio.com, and please connect with me on all the social media outlets. Facebook.com/That Business Show. You can also find us on Twitter under Jamie_Maloney. And all shows are put up on our YouTube channel simply entitled Jamie Maloney, and it's all high definition video. And we get those up there typically within about an hour of airing each program. So that's the first place you'll find any of the programs if you miss any of the shows. Coming back from the break, it'll be Ambassadors Monday, a new segment on the program where we highlight some of the members of TBBO, the Ambassadors. So you'll be hearing from April Saland and Bonnie Dye on That Business Show. Jamie Maloney, where business becomes show business.
The proceeding was a commercial